What's up, people? What's up? What's up? I'm GB. That's Coop. That's Brian. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. How y'all doing?
Doing all right.
Good.
Good, good, man. We back at it. Today is October 10th, 2023. We've been doing this show for 5 years, guys. I keep saying it, but it's pretty amazing. Like, we've been doing this for a long time, and it started during football season 5 years ago. So it's cool to be doing it, man. There's a chance that I always get to check in with my boys on a weekly, at least one time a week. I know I'm gonna talk to y'all, so that's cool because we don't typically call each other. So yeah, Sports Counterpoint show. We're talking sports. We're gonna kick a little bit of baseball because playoffs are going. I did want to bring up a second of hockey. Brian was mentioning something that the NHL just enacted, which is I think interesting and relevant. And then all football all the time, like always. So baseball playoffs, man. I haven't really been watching. I'm gonna keep it real. I see just kind of running down it. Minnesota loses to Texas. You got Texas beating Tampa Bay, Texas and Baltimore playing. Texas sweeps them, so the Orioles are out after a good season, from what you guys said. After a while, Houston is leading the Twins 2-1. Arizona is leading the Dodgers 2-0. Philly is tied up with the Braves 1-1, and that's kind of where we're at. So, any kind of quick thoughts y'all got about baseball? I don't really watch, so I ain't even gonna act like I got nothing to say.
Well, it's hard and it's depressing. Yeah, it's depressing for me. I mean, I'm a Dodgers and a Twins fan. Had a lot of high expectations for the Dodgers this postseason, and they're losing. Not only are they losing badly, but they're losing in historical fashion. I'm sure everybody who's listening to this right now knows what happened with Kershaw. He gave up 5 runs before the first out in the first inning, and 6 runs total in that. That is both historical highs. And obviously, his streak, he has been amazing. He's the reason why the Dodgers have made so many postseasons while he's there. He's probably going to go down as one of the best pitchers of all time. But equally amazing is his propensity for absolutely blowing up in his first start in the playoffs, seemingly every single year. And what's crazy about that is just how all the fans react to it. We all know what's going to happen. It is always disappointing, but these folks act like he just torched the whole team on fire and ruined the whole season and everything else. Like, he had nothing to do with last night's game when they gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and ultimately couldn't come back. These folks want to burn this guy in effigy, like right after the game. People are like, he should retire. He's clearly washed up. Like, man, he had a great season in a year where the Dodgers had all types of injuries and pitching troubles. He was a bright spot. But nonetheless, the Diamondbacks are ahead 2-0. They're going out to Arizona starting tomorrow. With any series, when you get down 0-2 and you're on break games for the next 3, the odds are heavily stacked against you from being able to come back from that. And it's unfortunate. I think most of the other big series, like Phillies and Braves, those are kind of split up. And I'm still hoping that the Twins can make a comeback and beat the Astros, just because I hate the Astros so much. But the Astros are up 2-1. So that
was years ago, man.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Well, you know what? I mean,
Brian's still not over it.
Yeah,
I'm not over the Clippers either. People tell me that they have a new owner. I don't give a shit.
Let's go.
Sterling can go up a tree for life, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, the playoffs have been interesting and intriguing, even if just because I'm watching one of my 2 teams take a historical beating. Jason, what were your thoughts?
Well, like you, I wanted Minnesota to win due to family ties, and they have been getting whooped. Texas looks like I don't know. It seems like, Brian, I don't know if this seems like to you, but it seems like the team is always one team that gets hot, either in the National League and American League, and sort of runs the table to the World Series. And half the time, it seems like they win the World Series too. I think that's what's happening with Texas. Texas is over there; they're kicking butt. they're from the AL West. The A's playing the AL West, and of course they
Ain't
don't
lost a
compete.
game yet.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game yet. I mean, they're doing their thing, so they look like the favorite. Philadelphia is hanging with Atlanta. I know a lot of people like Atlanta, but they can choke as well. But they're playing pretty good. The Dodgers, I still don't think it's over. I just don't think it's over for the Dodgers yet.
Hope not.
Arizona has a 2-0 lead, yes, but I mean, winning 4 straight games in baseball playoffs is a lot easier to do in this sport than it is in any other sport. So I still think they're not out.
And Arizona has been a very bad team all season long. They're the only team in the playoffs with a negative run differential.
Yep. Yeah, they give up a lot, and if they win games, it's always usually kind of quirky or wacky or whatever, or something historical happens or whatever, like you had mentioned. But yeah, the Dodgers still aren't out. Atlanta, Philadelphia is going to be, I think, a good series, at least 6 or 7 games. And then Houston, Minnesota, if Minnesota loses one more game, go down 3-1, I think it's over.
Well, it's over.
And then we're going to have to.
Series.
Right. Then we're both rooting for Texas. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say. I've only watched a little bit of one game today because I bet the Texas Rangers. That's the only reason. Other than that, I haven't watched any other game, but I will as the playoffs go on.
Did you post baseball picks on Peerless One?
Texas Rangers, I did on Peerless One Sports on Twitter, Peerless One Sports. Yes, I did post, and I had a college football game today too that won as well. So that's on there.
PeerlessOneSports.com.
PeerlessOneSports.com, or you can just go on Peerless One Sports on Twitter. I'm a part of a group called Dub Club where you can purchase picks from there too. I had a special going on for $25 for the entire month. Still get that as well. $25 for the entire month. Get picks,
okay.
but yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't mean to advertise like that, but you threw it out there, Glenn.
I threw it out there on purpose. Hey, when I put my money in with yours, and I came back with a little bread. So
no doubt,
it is what it is. Yeah. So okay. So baseball, I ain't really got nothing, man. I ain't gonna lie. I usually watch during the playoffs. I ain't watched nothing. The Dodgers are in it, so typically I would watch the California team involved. Atlanta too. Shout out to the A. I'm going out there for homecoming, and lived out there for a long time. So it'd be cool to see them win, but man, I ain't gonna lie. Like I watched near not a baseball. I ain't watched no baseball plays. I played more 2K, PGA 2K, and Madden than any of these games that I didn't seen. So I ain't even gonna lie. Anything else playoffs wise for now?
No, it's 5-game series, man. They come and go real quickly.
Is it 5 all the way, or is it 7 at the end?
7 at the end.
7
okay, got it. Yeah. Shout out to the homie Dave too, because I know he's baseball. And then we slide to hockey, which is also Dave too, but. The main thing about hockey kicked off tonight. You had a triple header. Hockey's back rolling. Coop, let's see what's up on the schedule for the Philly and Sharks game when it's out here. Let's go to that. Yep. Last year they put it on Christmas or something silly, so we couldn't go. We'd been like 3 years in a row before that. So let me know. Let's do that. Hockey just kicked off. We'll see what the Kings do, what the Sharks do. But B, you mentioned something that I think is relevant, man. Let's talk about it. With the NHL banning multicolored tape on the hockey sticks to represent pride. What's kind of the deal on that?
One of our listeners, somebody who listens to our show pretty regularly, was the one that was telling me about it. And my only initial reaction was, well, that's stupid. And the way that they did it was cowardly. So what they said is that you cannot alter your uniform in any way, including tape, for any of the specialty nights like Black History Night, Military Appreciation Night, and Pride Night. Now, the only one that really has an impact there is Pride Night when it comes to the tape, and that was kind of what their target was, but they brought everything else to kind of make it not seem as bad as it actually is. And there's a lot of, the argument, the logic to it was that, there's these other groups that don't have these nights, although they're not getting rid of the nights, they're just getting rid of the changes. So it's obviously and very clearly focused on Pride Night because of the colors associated with it. And that's the only place that you would actually alter a uniform, Black History Night.
Oh, see,
military nights.
Yeah, I did the red, black, and green tape on mine, but there's like 3 brothers that play, so.
Yeah. So anyways, it's just, it's monumentally stupid. It's clearly targeted. I don't know exactly what they thought that they were going to gain out of this. Certainly not making this announcement now. And in the end, they're ultimately going to probably, suffer a little bit at the hands of a very focused group of people who know how to bring issues to the forefront. And it's purposeless. Like, why in the world should a league worry about the color of the tape on the stick that's going to hit a hockey puck, and has been going on for a little while now without any issues or concerns. There's, very little backlash that has occurred. I'm sure homophobic people, didn't want to see it, but who cares? They added themselves. Move on.
What color tape can you use then? Just white?
Black. Yep,
oh, that's
black and
it.
white.
Got it. Interesting.
Which is standard and has been standard.
Yeah, they all use black.
Yeah.
But again, the amount of harm that this does is pretty much zero. I don't think there's any harm from having, multicolored tape on a stick that's used to hit.
This kind of stuff is always interesting to me because you actually promote the cause more by banning the thing, because I'd have never even noticed multicolored tape until you make this huge announcement that you're not allowing it. I never really understood that.
And so many other sports allow for people to talk about their own issues. The NFL is even allowing people to put messages on the backs of their helmets that they can choose from a selection.
They're still pretty stringent. Exactly, a selection.
Of a selection.
Yeah.
But they also have uniform. They let you choose your uniform. You're now allowed to decorate your shoes for areas and charities. Basketball has obviously been more open and receptive to the idea of having these things. Baseball, there was actually some controversy this year around the Pride Night because it was on again, off again with an evangelical group that was protesting it. And ultimately they realized, it's pretty silly to sit there and let an evangelical group or any group of people who are going to suggest that a league change their policy based on someone else's hatred. Right. And that is ultimately where the problem here is. This is not this is not an instance where let's say the Pride group is exhibiting hatred and they need to distance themselves from that. They're responding to other people's hatred of these Pride groups, and ultimately, affiliating themselves with the disdain for people who are putting that out there, and that's unfortunate. And it'll be interesting to watch in that if there's a group of people who have been persecuted, who fought back successfully, it is the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, true that.
Learn tonight, because on one of the articles that Dave was talking about, it started off, it was 2S LGBTQ plus. I did not know what the 2S was, looked it up. So I learned that 2S is part of that stands for Two-Spirit, which is when it is specific to Native Americans and some of their preferences and choices. I learned a little bit about it. It was interesting.
Yeah. I think I was talking about,
I'd never seen that one before, so you learn something new every day. Jason, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this.
Absolutely.
I have no thoughts on it. You pretty much summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it till just now. So, or like maybe 10 minutes ago before we hopped on. So, I don't know. It's always interesting when pro leagues get caught up in this, because I'm sure at the end of the show we'll talk about, what else is happening around the world. I'm sure that's going to be the minute to win it. But I've seen every sports league has posted something about that too, and I don't know. It's just very interesting how your PR people try and word stuff and make stuff work so you alienate the least amount of fans and make the most amount of money, because that's all this really ever boils down to.
Yeah,
let's be honest. So speaking of making the most money, NFL, that's what their claim to fame. Man, what a week, man. This has been a very interesting season, man. Teams that you thought were good fail, win one week, lose the next. Everybody but the 49ers, they can't be beaten. They're playing a but they're playing De La Salle too, so that's cool.
Here we go. We'll start. Well, you know what? Look, the Raiders won a game, so why don't you just go ahead and just start, give your analysis on what went on?
I mean, man, I was impressed. Best team in the league. We're finally showing what we could do.
Okay.
Offense couldn't score, but
best team in the league.
Picks. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure the audience is laughing too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I in Madden world, come see me. You know what I mean? We getting out here. Jimmy scoring all kind of touchdowns there. We throwing for 300 a game. Real life, it's
not bad though.
Yeah, it's picks on picks. I will say that what I noticed about Jimmy and I like and don't like is like Jimmy is, man, he gonna throw that ball, man. He ain't throwing it away. He gonna try and squeeze it in. Good or bad, he gonna throw it. It's often bad though. Josh Jacobs had a couple of nice runs. I thought Devontae would do a little more, but it sounds like they kind of decoyed him and made sure he got the win, which I was happy about. Defense showed up. I mean, you're playing the Packers, who are still figuring out the offense, so I can't say too much.
I can, but go ahead.
But shout out to Dredd. I was already like, I wasn't. It was a close fight game between two teams that are trying to figure it out. This is the best I could say. So we'll see what happens going forward.
Well, since you mentioned Dredd's name, Dredd is a beloved friend of all of us, a Green Bay Packer fan. But Dredd, it's time for let's have a grown-up conversation about Green Bay, okay? AKA, let's unveil the truth, okay? Now, look.
I'm texting the group chat right now. Go ahead.
Now, look, I told you, Jordan Love is not an NFL quarterback, and so did Green Bay. But you Green Bay fans didn't want to listen. You say, how did Green Bay tell us? Well, while Jordan Love was there, they re-signed Aaron Rodgers. You only re-sign the existing quarterback when the replacement isn't any good. Believe me, I know. The 49ers re-signed Jimmy G while Trey Lance was on the team.
Here he goes.
And the reason why they did it, because they had questions about Trey Lance, players and coaches. That's number one. But also Coach Matt LaFleur, he told you in the offseason, temper your enthusiasm and your expectations. You know why he said that? Because he knew he ain't had nothing to work with. Okay. Did you see Green Bay's ultra-conservative game plan yesterday? I said before the season started, Green Bay does not want this guy to throw the ball. The game plan was run as much as possible, throw these screen passes and hope something happens, and then chuck it down the field on 3rd and longs. That was the game plan. That's what college offenses run when they have bad quarterbacks, okay? And Love, we all know, they all mentioned it. He's horrible in the first half. But what's sad about this is the first half plays are scripted. Those should be the easiest plays because you run them all week, and he's still bad doing that. He can't do those right. Those should be layups. Passes 5 yards or more down the field yesterday, 3 for 11 and 3 interceptions. For the season, passes 20 yards or more down the field, 6 for 26, 35 passer rating. This is with an offensive coach playing against the Raiders defense, and you have from September 28th, and you have from
September Raiders defense. Come on.
Okay, and then you have from September 28th to October 9th to prepare for this game, and this is how you look. I don't want to hear about drop passes and play calling. The only fans that complain about play calling is teams with bad quarterbacks or below average quarterbacks, okay? Green Bay is set up to succeed. You know who isn't? The Houston Texans, and CJ Stroud is killing it. He has a rookie head coach, a guy who's never called plays before, and he's killing it out there with the Houston Texans. So I don't want to hear nothing about play calling.
Glad he's getting props. He should.
I'm just saying. And then Jair Alexander said after the game, I guess they're on the defense going to have to hold the team to 0 touchdowns. You know why he said that? Because he knows they have nothing. That's why. Jordan Love can't play. Go ahead. I have a segment later that I'm going to put Green Bay in, a new segment that I just thought of today. I'm going to put Green Bay in that segment, okay, because it's pretty much over for Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Now, moving on to Vegas. Let me tell you one guy I like on the Vegas Raiders. I'm not going to lie. This guy, if you're a Raider fan, he's worth the price of admission. That's Max Crosby.
Max Crosby.
I didn't know he never missed a game. I didn't know he never missed a game. Effort,
in Oakland,
A+. Effort, A+. Motor, always going. Drive, it's the maximum. Leadership, he has it on and off the field. I mean, I really like that guy. Now, the Raiders still can't score 20 points. They still ain't done that this season. And McDaniel's trick plays that seem to always work in New England, they don't work for the Raiders. I don't know why. And Jimmy is the only quarterback I know that can throw. Oh, we'll see.
We scored some TDs, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. They ain't scored 20 yet, but Jimmy is the only quarterback I know that can throw an interception in stride to the defensive back while he's aiming for the wide receiver. I don't know any other quarterback that does that. It's in stride. But anyway, good win for the Raiders. Still a lot of work to be done. I know you probably, Glenn, will want more points on the board, watching that game. But
I just want the dubs, man.
I get you. And let me tell you something. No matter how close that game got, after the first quarter, when I saw Green Bay's game plan, I never thought the Raiders were going to lose that game. I didn't care how
Thanks.
close it was. I never thought the Raiders would win. Never thought. I
And
mean, we'll
also,
lose the game. I'm sorry.
B,
Never thought
before
they
you
would
hop
lose.
in, shout out to the best the best game time presentation team in the league. Halftime was Too Short, Warren G, and DJ Quick. Nobody's touching us on the halftimes. Go ahead.
with Marshawn on
With
stage.
Marshawn going dumb, repping the town. Crazy.
All right. Well, Grant, I hope you don't hate me, but go ahead.
They left the second half field a little foggy. Rumor is that's due to fireworks, but you never know with that.
Hilarious. Oh, you do now because it was mainly Green Bay fans, so I doubt they had the.
Anyways, so I watched this game. I was obviously interested in it because so much of my friends and family are on one side or the other of this of that game, right? So I have a lot of friends who are Green Bay fans, and I have a lot, even more friends and family that are Raider fans. So I just was sitting there and kind of observing the chaos. I don't have any person in the fight, but I was told last week I need to be more supportive of the Raiders. So I am happy that they won.
My brother, man, appreciate that.
But at the same time, I think, Jason, you summed it up well when you said these are two teams that are just still trying to figure it out. I think the reason why they're still trying to figure it out is because I do not think that Jordan Love is forsaken 5 games into his first season as a starter. I do think that's a little bit premature. But as we like to tease you all the time, there's not a many quarterbacks that last that 5 games into a season before you've sold them off the river.
And definitely no new quarterback that's black.
Oh God!
If it's not Warren Moon or Randall Cunningham, you are not. That boy better be Hall of Fame.
I like Mahomes. What are you talking about? I like Mahomes. What are you talking about?
See? Yeah, you like half of them.
Half.
These are jokes. These are jokes. All right.
You like to have that
messing around, yeah. These are jokes.
Anyways, I don't think it's over on Love. He's had moments where he's looked good.
Yeah.
He's had moments where he's looked completely confused. This was definitely the latter. I didn't mind it. But I do think that they still have something to work with to figure it out. Now, if they were the worst team in football, do I think that they would take Caleb Williams in a heartbeat? Yeah, absolutely.
No, 100%.
But barring that, and it doesn't look like they're going to be the worst team in the NFL. Barring that, I think that they can at least work on trying to figure out if he's got real potential. Because there's not a lot of quarterbacks. There are some. There's not a lot of quarterbacks who are able to come in and immediately get it all figured out.
Yeah, I will say that the Packers mold so far of letting the guy kind of sit behind the other guy has worked. Although he lost this game, he's had some comebacks. He's won other games, so I don't think, like you said, they're forsaken. We'll see. We're gonna see what happens to their division too, because it's beyond the Lions, who are good now. The other teams are kind of faltering. So, kind of actually saying that, we can segue right into Brian. I will say last thing that it was cool to see some interceptions. We had 3 interceptions. I ain't seen that in.
Well, Jordan Love's quarterbacking. I mean, what you expect? He ain't playing the Bears,
we play them next week, actually. I ain't played. No, we played Patriots, I think, and then Bears.
You play Patriots, yeah.
I haven't seen either way. Well, we played plenty of bad quarterbacks over the last couple of years, and I ain't seen no 3 picks. So, and I don't know if he's bad or not, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, same division as the Lions, and the Vikings. B, let's slide to your team, man. What you think?
Man.
Well, in first things first, part of this is this conversation is going to go into the hogwash. So I'll leave that part of later. But I did not get to watch the game because I was at a game that was going on at the same time.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, it's
on the field.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I was on the on the field for the Rams Eagles. Something caught my throat. Apparently, bad football. But anyway, I got to catch up on the Vikings game later. It's time to figure out what we're going to do next. With Justin Jefferson getting hurt, I think we could safely put a fork in this season, and then take a look at what we're going to do going forward. We are in the Caleb Williams conversation right now. There's already rumors around about whether or not they should trade Kirk Cousins to a team that's aspiring to the playoffs, but needs a little bit of quarterback help. And why not go all in on trying to build a young core? You have Addison, obviously, connection with Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You have KJ Osborne, who's pretty good. You have Hawkinson on a new deal.
Mm-hmm.
You have Justin Jefferson, who you want to keep happy and keep around. You have Ty Madison, not Alexander Madison, Ty Chandler there, and now Cam Akers. So there's things to build around in the offense. And this is not a I hate Kirk Cousins thing. He's obviously not my favorite, and he leads the league in touchdowns right now. So, it's not only because of him, but the turnovers that this team can't get straight. And, Jason, the horrible play calling by O'Connell and just general coaching decisions that he makes over and over and over again that are unexplainable. We got to get that stuff worked out. And it doesn't seem like we're going to get that stuff worked out this season. So we need to figure out what we're going to do next season and the seasons beyond. And I think trying to figure out how to create a young core of a team, it makes a lot of sense. And if you want to find a team that is doing that, go look no further than the Rams, who after the Super Bowl were an old team that had spent too much money and they had to take a 2-year hiatus from being competitive, and now have a relatively young team outside of their quarterback, have great young wide receivers in Tutu Atwell and
Nakua.
Sorry, Cooper
Nakua
Kupp,
is good.
also, and Akua. And then today they've gotten so much confidence now that Kupp's back, they're looking to trade Van Jefferson. Kyron Williams is really good. But if you want to look at, the Vikings are clearly trying to follow the lead of the Rams. And that's and Kirk Cousins was their Stafford. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the defense together the way they could to try and give them that run that they ultimately capitalized, and we're not going to do that. So if you look at what the Vikings are supposed to do next, let's get younger and prepare for next.
Yeah, I watched this game. I had money on the over and lost. Okay, the first half, Minnesota was very conservative. They set up for way too many field goals, and they had a conservative game plan as if they were scared to play Kansas City. I didn't like that. You're at home, you're playing against Kansas City, man. Put it on out there and try to beat that team. They can be beat on the road. I didn't like that, and plus they were, and they can be beat exactly. And they
especially
ran
early in the season. They don't get hot till later.
And Minnesota ran too much. They weren't successful running the ball, and they still kept doing it. So the receivers never got into Kirk Cousins. The receivers never got into a rhythm. So in the second half, when they had to throw, they were never in a rhythm for the first half and a little bit of the third quarter because they weren't throwing consistently, which they should have did. And they could have beaten. I really believe they could have beaten Kansas City, but I didn't like
refs wasn't having that.
I know you're talking about that play, but I'm just saying before that, Minnesota has a talent to match up, or they could to match up with Kansas City, at least that game, and they could have potentially won that game, but being conservative kind of messed them up, and so they ended up losing the game. But I had Minnesota scoring at least 27 points, and they could have. I think they had a turnover too, but
they would have actually.
So Jason,
they would have.
So Jason, what I did find amusing and was going to mention is that we both knew that this was going to be a one-score game. We kind of talked about it. You thought maybe they could get it over, and I was like, no, because they suck at one-score games. We'll talk, as you alluded to, and I'll talk about in a little bit. There was a little bit of help against them, but it's just, they just whatever it is that doesn't allow or allows a team to win a one-score game. Last year they had it. This year they did not.
I was gonna say the same thing happened to us 2 years ago, bro. We won all the close games. The very next year, the ball bounced the other way.
Yeah, and we said that. It said that once you have a one-score record that's so good, 1 year, next year just kind of evens out. So you kind of don't win those games. But I'm with you. Yeah, whatever it is, it kind of loses it that next year. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's got me wondering.
They do not have it this
year. We gotta talk to the fan. We was talking about going to the Raiders Vikings games, and I'm kind of like, let's see, especially if Jefferson's out.
I don't know. It's getting bleak.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Coop, man, undefeated, man. What's up with these Niners, bro?
Man, look, I'm gonna start with Dallas because I very, very rarely bet on the 49ers because I don't want to have that extra emotion in the game with money and rooting for my team. I just don't do that.
I feel you on that.
but a lot of people were picking Dallas, and I couldn't really. This is not a shot at you, Brian, but I'm just saying in general, media people, and I couldn't really understand why. And this is the reason that they beat the Giant. They played the Giants, Jets, Cardinals, and Patriots, all teams with bad quarterbacks. And they're saying, "Oh, they got the number one
Whoa,
defense."
whoa, whoa.
I'm thinking Giants, Jets, Cardinals, and Patriots. They got quarterbacks that nobody would really want right now. So
Okay,
I'm with Glenn on this one. I'm not impressed by having the number one defense against those teams.
but
But
let's
then,
not. You guys played them. Y'all ain't played Johnny Unitas and them either. But go ahead.
okay, all right, and neither have the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. But
Yeah, I mean,
continuing,
cool. But if that's the argument,
yeah,
I'm gonna ask you to stop there. But go ahead. We
no,
can pull up the quarterbacks y'all beat. But go ahead.
everybody said they had the number one defense against those teams. I don't think it's hard to have a number one
Yeah,
defense.
they did at the time, but yeah.
But here's the reason why I bet on the 49ers. What position unit on the Cowboys would you take over the 49ers? Who has
Not
the
one.
better coach? 49. Who you want, McCarthy or Shanahan? I'm gonna take Shanahan.
Not one.
Quarterback, I'm taking Brock. Running backs, I'm taking McCaffrey and Mason. Wide receivers, I'm taking Ayuk, who's better than all of the Cowboys receivers, and Debo. O-line, D-line, I'm taking the one with Nick Bosa. Yeah, they have Michael Parsons, but I got Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw.
100%.
Secondary is a wash. So I didn't understand this whole Cowboy love when there's nobody, no position you would take over the 49ers.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be 40-10. Don't get me wrong. I did not think it was
Yeah,
going to be that
and
bad.
on the West Coast, no chance.
Yeah, but I think that I knew the 49ers would win that game. They always seem to beat Dallas. Dallas said it was the biggest game of the season for them, but when is the last time Dallas won a big game? They never win big games. They always lose year after year.
Man.
And then I look at Dak. Dak Prescott can't move. He's had too many lower body injuries. That dude can't move. And for him to be successful, like Jalen Hurts, like Zach Wilson, like Lamar Jackson, like Taylor Heineke, they have to move to be successful. They just can't sit in the pocket and just throw the ball. Dak can't move, and he's not a pocket passer. That's not a good combination. Now, from the 49ers perspective, this was a coming out party for Brock Purdy. I don't really understand why people have to see 10, 15, 30 more games, but don't have to see more games from other people. I'll talk about that in my minute.
They don't want to pick Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo as the truck and superstar quarterbacks that they aren't.
Oh, I never called them a superstar.
Oh, really early.
I never called him superstar. Neither one of them superstar. But this was a coming out party for Brock Purdy. They shut down Christian McCaffrey, which they said they wanted to do. Brock Purdy leads the NFL in completion percentage and passes over 10 yards down the field at 72%. He obviously has touch on his passes. He leads the league in passer rating for people who care about that kind of stuff. I don't, but he does. He's been playing consistently well every single game. He's been consistent across the board and making throws, and people still want to compare him to Jimmy. I don't know why, because Brock actually throws the ball downfield and Jimmy doesn't complete those passes. This was a high-profile game against the Cowboys, the most watched Sunday night football game ever. 26 million people, most watched game, and Brock was just still Brock. So people don't want to say he's a good quarterback. I mean, that's fine, but this dude's making the passes. I don't understand what more you want to see from him. Of course, he's not going to have 500-yard games, but he's doing what he's supposed to do. So I looked at this game as a coming out party for Brock Purdy.
I'm going to speak for all the people that you put all those words in their mouth right there and said that people were saying that he's not a good quarterback. Nobody is saying that. I don't think anybody, and we even
no, a lot of people have said they want to see
maybe
more.
People are saying that to you, but generally speaking, people are not saying that he's not a good quarterback. They're just saying he's not a great quarterback yet.
No, not at all. He's not a Hall of Famer.
He's got work.
Yes.
Maybe not in the future. I don't even know. At this point, it's a little too early.
Yeah.
He's played well. He is good. I do think that there's a lot of qualities there, but I do think that the team, the San Francisco 49ers, have been until this week far too dependent on McCaffrey for success. Ultimately they did exactly what they wanted to do, which is show that they could win a game without McCaffrey blowing up and being a superstar. Wide receivers caught touchdowns. That's a unique thing for the 49ers this year. It's good. It's good that they were able to make some progress.
But yeah, McCaffrey he didn't have the average. He still had 51 yards, a touchdown. He still had 27 yards catching. Yeah. So it's not like
he was not a factor in this game.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't the only thing going.
He was not a factor.
Kittle had a huge night.
Yeah.
Thank you for my fantasy league.
Any solid defense is gonna key in on the one guy, and you can stop one guy, which I think you said last week. I think what I noticed. So one, I'm looking at the box scores, and Brock did have a game, 252, 4 TDs, 17 for 24. So I'm giving that. You were speaking of quarterbacks. Y'all beat Kenny Pickett, Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, Who's the boy for the Cardinals? Dobbs.
Dobbs.
Shout out to
Dubes.
Josh Dobbs,
Yeah.
Dubes,
Yep.
and Dak Prescott. So
And
let's
go look
not,
at this. And go look at the second best quarterback in the league. Everybody's saying Jalen Hurts. Let's go see who he's beating because he's like Josh Allen.
Well-
he gets credit for losing to Kansas City. I don't know how you lose to Kansas City every year, but what's his name? Josh Allen 2 years ago and Jalen Hurts last year, and they give you
No.
credit for losing. I don't get that.
So
But who does Jalen Hurts play
All right.
this year? You can
Well,
run down
I'm-
his last year's schedule too.
I know. Well, they're it's gonna be division, right? And here's the main thing: you can only play who they
Their
give.
division sucks. They play the Giants, Cowboys, and Washington. That is not a good division.
No, I know. I
Arizona
agree.
beat Dallas.
I agree.
Oh,
It's
wait.
the same as hold on real quick. It's the same as the Niners, in my opinion. You can only play who they give you, right? So I'm not
Okay.
down on the Niners for that. You can only play who you go up against. But if the argument is that Jalen's not playing anybody, I don't know that the Niners have either. My biggest thing is this.
Go ahead.
And I'll let you go. With Brock, I think Brock is good. I've seen every time I want to see him do something, he does it, right? Like, dude makes the passes. He's done it all. I will say this, and you guys know me well, so I think this analogy works. I think Brock Purdy is me in that dude looks good and he's doing this, but you ain't really seen him under no pressure. Like, where's the stress? Where's the trauma at? You know
Against
what I'm
the
saying?
Giants, he was blitzed 86% of the time.
Right. Here's my thing, though. It's the Giants, bro. So the defense was already killing the defense. Like, my thing is, and this is all I'm saying, Coop, I cannot give you, and this is all I'm wanting to see, right? Every quarterback that I deem is good, I can give you a signature win. Everyone. I can tell you, I saw Patrick Mahomes down 27 against
Houston.
Against Houston.
I remember that. Right.
It wasn't a defense that did that. Matt, he had to come back. They made that happen. I've seen Brady throw 5 TDs in games. I've seen him come back from deficits. Now,
it's like Caleb Williams at USC. He wills USC to win. I get that.
They got to do it, right? Now,
But-
the Niners game plan has been fantastic. They never play from behind, right?
They haven't had that moment yet.
Haven't had that moment yet. They're doing everything right.
So what's Jalen Hurts'
the
signature
game
win?
plan.
Because they're not built to play from behind. So what is his signature win, Jalen Hurts?
I'm
Because
not-
everybody says that he has nothing to prove. He's the second best quarterback in the league.
Well,
Tell
all
me
I'm
his
gonna-
signature
Talking about
win.
everybody right now.
I was gonna say,
Talking
my
about
main thing is I'm on the show with y'all, and I got a Niners fan and a Vikings fan, so I don't really know about what the Eagles are doing. I'm talking specifically to y'all chances. If y'all gonna win it, I am just trying to see, because the main thing is, in my past experience with all my people who are Niner fans, when it comes down to it and a game is lost, 100% of the time in these last few years, it's been the quarterback.
Glenn?
Every one of these Super Bowl losses, right? So I'm just waiting to see. I think Brock is nice. I just do not have a signature where, hey, Brock, we need you to win this game.
And here's my
When
rebuttal.
your fourth option is George Kittle, bro.
It's Jawan Jennings. It's Jawan Jennings. But let me tell you this. Name me one playoff game we went in with Jimmy where Jimmy going into the game was the better quarterback. It never happened.
I'll give you that.
We're going in handicapped every single playoff game.
I can't. It's
Every
going to
game.
depend. And here's the thing. We talked about this last time. It's going to depend on the game, because I can't say that. I don't know if Brock is or not, because I've never seen him ever play have to like will to a game. I've seen their team is fabulous and they build it right. Just keep going off that. So if the defense is going to always have you with the lead, you're never going to be behind. You're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't see how you can't, but I've just never seen him have to score 10 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. I've just haven't
There
seen
will be
it.
a moment.
It's gonna be a moment.
There'll be a moment.
I just need to. All I want to do is see it, right? And he
I'm with
hasn't.
Brian. It will be a moment.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Every time he's been asked to do it, every time you guys have played a big game, y'all have won the game. They win this week. They beat they have the 49ers.
We played the Browns. We played the Browns.
The Browns
Yeah,
and then
the
play the
Vikings.
Vikings,
49ers.
Bengals.
Consecutive season wins record.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking bad about Brock. I just do not. I think the dude is great.
You think he's better than Jimmy?
Oh,
Yeah, I got to.
Oh, okay. I'm done. There's some people say he's the same. So I
How could I
know
not?
what you're thinking. Okay.
How could
all
I
right.
not? No, I mean,
Okay.
you just have to go off what you got. I just
Who
all
says
I'm
they're the
saying
same?
is
Oh,
all I'm
listen,
saying
man,
is
please, plenty of people.
the
Plenty of people.
the roster he has compared to Jimmy is better, and he's playing. He's balling out. I'm not saying he's not. I just
Jimmy had that same roster.
He did not have McCaffrey. He did not have.
Jimmy
had
had
that
that
1
same
year,
roster.
and he got hurt. But he didn't. There's
Jimmy
no
had
way.
We've never averaged 30 with Jimmy. He had McCaffrey last year. We did not average 30 a game.
It's
With him.
1 year, bro. When they didn't even want him to play, they were trying to get rid of him. Man, I can't. I'm
Jimmy-
not saying he's as good. I'm just saying.
Okay, let me tell you one thing about Kyle's
I just
offense.
need to see Brock do it, man.
Okay,
I
let me
haven't
tell you-
seen him win a signature game. Is all I'm
Got you,
saying.
but this is my last
I
point.
need to see him throw a pick and then still win the game. I ain't seen.
Okay. Let me show you one thing though. Kyle has a play schemed up every game. One play where a wheel route, a post route, he schemes a guy open. Somebody leaks out, he schemes a guy open for a touchdown. Brock hits that play 85% of the time. Jimmy hit that play 15, 20% of the time. That's why the 49ers scoring 30
fine.
points. This is what happened in the Super Bowl. I told you in the third quarter, it was 2 plays he schemed up. Guys, Kittle was wide open for touchdowns. That play in the fourth quarter, Tyreek Hill would have went nothing because they were already down 3 scores when it would happen. But Jimmy took a sack and threw it short on both of them. I'm telling you, Brock Purdy can play football. I don't understand why people need to see 10, 15 more games. Justin Fields have one good game, and people say, see, I told you, he got talent. He played one good game.
We're going to talk about that because you're just wrong there, too.
I just haven't seen him play. I ain't seen him. I've never seen him have to I've never seen him under stress or struggle. That's it.
Down by, okay, I can agree with that. They're down by 14 or something. Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's what every real quarterback, and he's going to have it. And all I'm saying, Coop, is I'd like them to, because I don't care if y'all win the Super Bowl. The only way it's in Vegas, so we going to be at the Super Bowl because it's there. You feel me? But we ain't going to be in it. We can go in because it's our building, but I ain't going to be in it. I just want to see it happen now and not in the playoffs. I want to see it happen now in one of these games, struggle a little bit, like for Dallas, right? They got a lot to build on, but you can look at plenty of games and say, we lost this one. We have to work on this. We have to work on this. In my opinion, it's just harder to get a team rallied around. Here's all these things we got to fix. We got to do when you're winning every game and dominating every.
Well, we'll see against Philly because that defensive line, especially with Jalen Carter on there now, is filthy. They're filthy.
Bro,
they are
nasty.
Filthy. And I think we're going to see some with Myles Garrett because I don't think we got nobody to block Myles Garrett next week either.
No,
so
my biggest fear is the Philly game. Oh, it's third. The Philly game is 6 weeks from now or something, and that's my nervous. A lot changes, but I think Brock is good. I think he's the poster child for the league. I think he's a clean-cut white dude. I think he's nice on the field. I think he drives a Sienna and has a roommate. He has everything you could want for the NFL. He's great for Santa Clara as your quarterback. He's swaggy. No disrespect, bro. Like he is, man.
You are
he's
funny.
a perfect
You threw that in there under the radar.
Right,
bro.
right.
I mean, I live out here. It's like
though.
a perfect, we have a good mix of people. It's a perfect mix. All I'm saying, Coop, is I just want to, I want to see is that signature. We were down 17 at half. We came back even close. You ain't got to win it, but let me see.
Yep.
I threw 2 picks in the game. Trevor Lawrence, right? I'm not saying he's great. That Charger game, he threw hella picks. They were down. He came back. I can't put that on the Jags.
No, I see you. No, I'm with you.
They made stops. That's all I want to see. I think he can do it. I think he can do it 100%. I just have not been able to see it.
Because I still remember Andrew Luck's signature game.
That's
I remember
what I'm saying.
Williams' signature game in college. I remember those games.
Right.
And Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Come on.
Tom Brady against the Chargers
Montana,
1 year.
Young.
I get you. That's
all I'm saying. I just have not seen that here. I came in like, Brock, we need you to win this game. I think they can because the offense is nasty. The scheme is nasty. It's just
I think Kirk Cousins' signature game. You like that, don't you? That's
what I'm saying. I just need the one. When you're always playing from up 10, I'm out here slinging it too when I'm up, and he ain't making mistakes. So dude is nice. I just want to see. You guys have the most well-rounded team in the league right now. It's hard to argue with the Niners. What they're putting
week
together.
5. Let's just
point
stay
blank.
healthy.
It's hard to argue. I think so.
Yeah.
You ain't playing.
And for the record,
certainly their worry is they better put McCaffrey in bubble wrap for the end of the season.
He's been through 3 seasons with no injury, so knock on wood. Bruh's
got it. He has not played a full season since 2019.
Did he get hurt last year?
No, he didn't get hurt last year.
He didn't play a bunch of
like
games.
8 games. Yeah, like 8 games.
That's
he didn't play a bunch of games. Whether injury or not, the dude does not play full seasons. It's easier to not have an injury when you only play half the games in the season.
You guys got to play Lamar, Burrow, and
we got the AFC North. That's
Lawrence and Hurts is the best quarterbacks here. All of them are going to have trouble with that D-line. So
But anyways, before we go on to talking about the next week, I did want to point out one thing, and this is more because I know that I've already shared this with both of you, but this is for the people who listen to our show because this is something that people may find somewhat interesting. If you had 2 quarterbacks, and one quarterback had, quarterback A is number 1 and quarterback B is number 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got 62% completion percentage for one, 66% completion for the other, 1,143 yards, 1,287 yards. The one with the less yards has more touchdowns, 11 touchdowns through the air. The other one has 10 touchdowns through the air. And then both of them have a quarterback rating of approximately 96. One is at 95.4 and the other one's 96. I'm sure most people would not think that I was comparing Justin Fields to Patrick Mahomes, but their numbers
I
are
saw
almost
that.
identical through 5 games in the season.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that is boosted by putting up 40 points by the Bears this week.
Boosted by DJ Moore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
add to that,
Yeah,
DJ
throwing the
Moore,
ball,
100% on DJ Moore. They have the highest quarterback and wide receiver rating in the league between Justin Fields, and have had it before this game all season, which is 158.3, which is perfect, as high as you can get in a perfect quarterback rating. That's pretty good. He obviously has a connection there. They got rid of Chase Claypool, but it was fun to hear McDaniels talk about that a little bit. But anyways.
Yeah, I said DJ Moore was a baller.
Look, and there's always other factors on whether or not someone is good or great. 100% I would take Mahomes over Fields. But I think the idea that Fields is so bad is overstated. Just as I think that there's a good possibility that he will be a decent quarterback going forward. You also have to remember, he plays in Chicago. They have a magical ability to screw up quarterbacks left, right, and center. They literally have not been able to have a great one there. And so there is something to that.
And
how is he good? He passed for 99 yards against the Chiefs. He played the Broncos and Commanders. How the hell is?
And yet he has more yardage than your boy Brock.
The Chiefs,
more touchdowns than your boy Brock, and is right there in the conversations with Patrick Mahomes. So for as bad as that game that you're talking about, he's still leading your boy Brock in all of those different categories.
The last time
is equal to Patrick Mahomes, whom you're talking about is the greatest guy.
Chiefs start out so slow every season too.
So last game he played against a team with a defensive head coach, a mediocre quarterback, and not so good defense. That's funny. The last time they won a game, they played against a defensive head coach, Bill Belichick, a mediocre quarterback, Mac Jones.
Hey Jason,
a team that weren't that good. They scored 40.
There is absolutely no way that you're ever going to be convinced. You hate the man. I get it. We can all move on that.
I don't hate the man, but because he had two good games, you're going to cancel out 20.
Like to be more objective. And want to look at what's actually going on more objective.
Games. What are you celebrating?
People who would like to be more objective. Statement that he is horrible seems overblown.
He had a 52% completion percentage against the Commanders.
And yet he's got a 61% and the same as Patrick Mahomes.
He lost 14 straight games before then. How is he good? What are you looking at?
He plays on Chicago, man. He doesn't get McCaffrey.
He's from Ohio State.
The greatest defense in football. A better coach.
Hey, let me
blah, 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 blah.
Name me the last Ohio State quarterback worth a damn in the NFL. I'll wait. Name me the last one. Ohio State. Name me one.
Now you hate him just because of the school he went to.
I don't hate him at all. He's just not good.
Go ahead.
Real quick though, hold on. I was gonna say I think who should be the most upset of quarterbacks is Lamar Jackson. Them brothers dropped passes like they were dipped in butter.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Mac Dre.
Yeah.
Man, I was like seeing the highlights. I mean, bow in the hands dropped. Right here, dropped, sideline.
100%.
That's who deserves any kind of I feel bad for Lamar.
Well, to Brian's point,
them passes.
To all you teams that need a quarterback, the Chicago Bears aren't going to pick up his fifth-year option, so he'll be available. So maybe he can be a Viking.
I think they will.
He'll be available.
They might get Caleb.
But I would be interesting to see him go someplace else that has a team, because Chicago's just awful.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
But I actually am now.
Doesn't matter.
If I were Justin Fields or his agent, I would worry that they've seen enough of him playing well that they might actually pick up his option.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can throw a route or you can't. It doesn't matter who your coach is. You can throw a coach route or you can't.
Again,
doesn't matter.
We all know your opinion. You made that part clear.
Doesn't matter.
Couple games for me real quick because we're coming up on our time. Jaguars, Bills. Did y'all watch that?
Again, not much football
6:30 in the morning.
Weekend, so Jason, you go with it.
No, 6:30 in the morning.
Hey,
Hell no.
Man, I happened to be up and saw the end of it.
That's the one game I did get to watch.
That was a good damn game, bro. That was a good damn game.
You were up at 6:30 in the morning?
Watch that game.
You were up that early?
Well, the end of the game's at 9, and the end of the game's at 9, and I saw that part.
No, I'm talking to Brian. Brian, you were up at 6:30 in the morning to watch that game?
I actually got to watch that game because it was before.
It was a good game, bro. That was a good game, bro. It was
actually a very good game.
Okay.
The ending was great.
The Bills fans did their best to make that stadium feel like a home game for the Bills. I actually know Bills fans who flew out there and made excuses to take their whole family and said, since we're here, let's go watch the Bills game.
Since we're here.
But hats off to the Jaguars. It was a very good game. It was very interesting. And they did go back and forth on that one. Ultimately, Allen couldn't make it happen, despite throwing for 360 yards or something.
Bro, that was a good game, Coop. And that game was crazy.
A game I did watch was Indianapolis and Tennessee. I'm impressed with that Philadelphia's former offense coordinator, Shane Steichen. Doesn't matter if Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew was in the game, man. He seems to make it happen and has that team team going. So they got something with Shane Steichen as coach.
I want Richardson to stay healthy, man, because I like the kid. And B, I wanted to go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say on another game, the Texans and Falcons game was really interesting because C.J. Stroud and Desmond Ridder played like two quarterbacks who are destined to be very good, when I think most people don't even know who the hell those guys are if they're not real serious.
Man, I just want to mention
both those boys are playing, doing some stuff out there.
That boy Bijan Robinson he's
bad.
Madden worthy, bro. That kid is sick. Just watching his plays, like highlights, and Atlanta's doing something with that above camera. That is crazy. That's nuts.
I watched that game. Stroud seems to, even though he lost, he's the better quarterback to me through 3 games.
He's
the better quarterback.
I think long term, I think Stroud has shown that he's a real prospect.
He's like historically right now. He's historically good, honestly.
But in fairness, Desmond Ridder, who is basically considered a fill-in, is doing a very solid job of filling it.
And then the last game I want to talk to was the game you were at, B, because you had the closest you ever. Eagles and Rams, man. How'd the Eagles look?
They looked like they found a way to win a game that they very easily could have lost. I mean, they were not playing their best game. The Rams were trying to stick with them, and the Rams just made too many mistakes. And the Eagles capitalized off them. They were clearly the better team. But there was definitely cracks in there when a young Rams team that isn't quite trying to figure it out, is still trying to figure it out, was able to stick with them for a very, very long time. That game, what was it, like 7 minutes left before it started to kind of get away from the Rams. Up until that point, it was a one-score, one opportunity game. So, the fans there were ridiculous.
I was going to ask, was the Eagles crowd or was the Rams crowd?
Oh, it was all Eagles. So much so that before the game, we were on a corner on the visitor side. Jalen Hurts came right in front of Austin and I, and was hyping up the crowd because the entire section behind us was all green.
Is he a big dude?
I was just going to ask. Is he a big dude?
He seemed like a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a defensive lineman, man. Austin looked at that dude and he's like, he's as big as a house. I mean, it was even. Yeah. But yeah, Jalen Hurts looks like a big dude in pads and all that kind of stuff. But it was just kind of fun to see him hype up the crowd. He went up there and was waving everybody on, and they walking out, all the Eagles fans were singing their fight song and so on and so forth. Like they took over the stadium. They took over the stadium. Apparently some fans got a little too stupid when they were out there because next thing you know, there was a bunch of ambulances coming over there. They forgot it was their stadium, but not their city. And I think they got confused for a moment after.
Don't throw them things.
Yeah, the Rams to me have been overachieving a little bit at this point, but it's a step up in class. 100%. It's a step up in class playing Philly, and Philly's offense hasn't been right, but they've been winning games. But two things stood out. Number one, they pretty much imposed their will on the Rams in the second half by just running on them, just running all over them in the second half. And then number two, Jalen Hurts threw an interception in the end zone, and when he went to the sideline, the coach lit him up, and Jalen took it. Didn't ever he just took it because he wants to be coached, because I think his dad was a coach too, but he wants to be coached. And if as a teammate, if you see that this guy's has a $300 or $275 million whatever dollar contract and he's taking coaching, then everybody else has to fall in line. I think he has the respect. Well, I know he has the respect of his team, but for him to want to be coached hard, you got to respect that, because he wants to be great. He wants to be as good as he can be as a quarterback, and you got to respect that. So that stood out to me. He didn't get mad or nothing.
I like that, Coop. That was actually talking good. I like that. Keep that up. Go ahead, B.
Oh, you funny.
The only thing I was going to say is how impressive was it for Cup to come back, and the entire first drive was pass the Cup. Like
his routes are crazy.
Firing.
Him and Stafford's connection is nuts. He just puts it right in his hands.
Right in there, and he's got a similar connection to Puka. This was just a matter of how many times can you drop the ball back and throw back. The Tutu Atwell touchdown was literally right in front of us, which was pretty awesome. I actually called that play in the car driving to the stadium. I told Austin that this is a play that they like to run. Where we're going to be sitting, you're going to be able to see that. And so when they got to the red zone, the goal line, I turned to him and said, "This is when the play is going to be run." He turned on his camera, and the very first play was the pylon run.
I've seen it.
The pylon was literally right in front of us, and he got it. He's like, "Man, I got it." He's like, "That was on my checklist." So that was a lot of fun. But those wide receivers for the Rams and Kyron Williams as well are legitimately very, very good. They are a 3 wide receivers that will be talked about as part of the best in future years.
All right. Word. So wrapping it up, man, just real quick for next week, we're just going to talk our teams because I feel like we're close to the end, and then we're going to do last 2 segments. Vikings, Bears. Who do y'all got?
I'm going to pick the Vikings, but it's not because I think that I just think the Bears are really bad, and I think that the Vikings can find a way to win this game. And because it's a division rivalry, they'll do that. But generally speaking, I think the Viking season ended with 6 to 8 weeks of Justin Jefferson on the shelf.
Oh yeah, we're definitely not going to the game.
Let me see who's favored. Oh, with spread went
Vikings
down
by 2.5.
Yeah, it went down from 4 to 2.5. I don't care. I'm still taking the Vikings.
I gotta rock with my bro on that. Patriots Raiders, of course I'm taking the Raiders. The Patriots gonna play better than they did last week, but we're at home. The last Patriots game at home versus the Raiders ended in a weird, crazy way. I gotta go with the Raiders, obviously.
I'll take the Raiders as well. The Patriots are playing at a historically bad level. They're getting outscored by monstrous amounts of points. I just don't know what there is to be optimistic about in Beantown right now.
Where's the game at?
In
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm taking the
I'm taking Vegas minus 3.
I hope I got 2.5 sacks for Max.
I'm taking the Raiders.
49ers Browns. Cool.
Who's quarterbacking? Is it Dorian Thompson or Deshaun Watson? If it's Watson, I'm taking Cleveland.
They said Deshaun don't want to play, man. I don't know.
If Deshaun doesn't play, I'm taking the 49ers. If Deshaun does play, I'm taking Cleveland.
I think there's no way y'all lose that game. I got to be honest, because it's for a record. It's for a record, though.
Jason said last week he thought this was the trap game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
5 hours ago, Browns to start PJ Walker.
Wait, they're starting PJ Walker?
Yeah, if Deshaun Watson is out. That was 5 years ago. 5 hours ago. 5 hours ago.
Oh, I'm about to say PJ Walker.
5 years ago, like
5 hours ago.
Wow, really? Yeah.
That's a hell of a prediction.
Yeah. So like I said, if Watson plays, I got Cleveland. If not, I'm taking.
I don't think y'all lose
I got the
that
49ers
record.
either way.
Yeah, Niners gonna win it. Y'all ain't gonna lose that record. And then Monday night, I know y'all be tuned in for Cowboys Chargers.
I'm taking the bad coach. Oh wait, both of them are bad. I'll take the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers too.
Two of Coop's favorite teams. Last segments. Minute.
Wait. Give me Seattle, Cincinnati. Give me that one, Brian.
Okay.
They're in
Cincinnati minus 3 at home. 45 and a half over under. Who you got?
Who are you taking?
I'm gonna take Seattle.
Me too. I got Seattle as well.
Since he got to win that game.
I got Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, since he's got to win that game, but I just don't think Chase and Burrow can do what they did last week consistently, and they need to win, and so therefore I don't think they have enough to beat Seattle.
Chase could get 2. He may not get 3, but they're gonna need some defense too.
And 200 yards. I mean, it's
he had
to play otherworldly in order for them to.
All right, last segments, minute to win it. I don't really got nothing.
Hogwash? No hogwash?
Yeah. So hogwash to start. Mine is NFL refs again. Every week probably it's gonna be NFL refs. They at least we're playing the Packers, who also get a bunch of calls against them, but it was again, man. I'm just tired of watching the refs.
Below games.
They shouldn't be as noticeable. I'll put it like that. The point of a referee is to make sure the game flows, call the calls as you need to, but it shouldn't be every second. I'm like, what in all the games. So that's mine.
So I'll go next just because I'm going to piggyback on what you were just saying. I did get to watch the highlights, and I have seen and been sent an infinite number of times that big play for the Vikings. It is so blatantly obvious that there were 3 penalties on there, and there's probably a 4th one that could be called, but it was definitely pass interference in the end zone, and it was definitely not tipped. And those things are as clear as day. It was definitely a late hit on the quarterback and illegal hands to the face. That is a penalty that they're supposed to call every single time, and how they missed it is beyond me. And they missed the one in the end zone. But more importantly, the dude takes off his helmet in the end zone to complain to the ref, which is a 15-yard penalty and a first down, which would have been huge in that moment. And the ref tells him to put it back on, but does not put a flag. So the refs can't say that they didn't see the penalty.
Well, it's
and so the coach is running over there saying he took his helmet off. The guy's like,
Man.
like, you can't pretend like you didn't see that. It was a critical mistake at a critical time that ultimately cost the Vikings a really great opportunity to tie that game up.
Yep.
The refs blew it. And independent of all the Casey conspiracy things, which feel very accurate right now to me, independent of all that, and this
welcome to my world, my boy.
The refs messed it up big time.
Welcome to my world,
That's
my boy.
hogwash. Moving on.
Oh man, my hogwash segment.
They would have got you the over too if they'd.
Yeah, exactly. Would have got me over.
And you could switch it to your segment you wanted.
No, I'm gonna do that for the minute to win it. I actually had a hogwash segment and I forgot. So don't even worry about it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll skip it.
Minute to win it.
Oh no, I do. I remember. Shit. I didn't want to remember. It's the coaching for the Miami Hurricanes. Mario Cristobal. Look, check this out. All we had to do was kneel and the game would have been over against Georgia Tech. It was about a little over 20 seconds left. They run the ball, fumble the ball, and then instead of letting Georgia Tech catch the ball about 20 yards away from the end zone and tackle them right away with the clock to run out, the quarterback bites on a fake. The receiver gets behind them. They throw it for a touchdown. Game over. 1 second left in the game.
That's
throw
terrible.
A touchdown pass and lost. I mean, what? That's hogwash. Seriously. I mean, first of all, you call that play. The running back should at least not try to fight for extra yards and pull a Vernon Davis and fumble the ball. But he did that, and then the back end of the defense
can't win with
they didn't know what's going on. I can't even talk about it. I'm just slurring words and everything. I'm just still mad about that. That's my hogwash segment. Miami Hurricanes versus Georgia Tech. Basic football, correct.
Do your thing first, Coop. The minute to win it or your segment.
Oh, okay. Minute to win it. Okay, so I created a new segment today. It's called Stick a Fork in Them. Okay, these are teams I will not talk extensively about for the rest of the season, and they should be looking forward to next year because their season is over. This is gonna be my minute to win it. Green Bay, for everything I said earlier, your season's done. Forget about it. Denver, they do nothing well. When you lose to Zach Wilson at home and give up 30 points doing it, your season is over. Great. It's done. Your season's over. Carolina, I think coaching is the major issue here because Frank Reich, he kind of looks lost on the sideline. They don't know what they're doing in Carolina. He hasn't really done anything since he's left the Eagles, and they can't block, can't defend. They can't do nothing right. And Bryce Young looks very, very tiny. I don't think he can see over the line, too, to be honest with you. So Carolina's, I think they're already 0-4. Stick a fork in them. They're done. They need to be looking forward to next year. 0-5. They stick a fork in them. And the last team, it's only 4 teams joining this list, is New England. How the hell do you lose to Dennis Allen and Derek Carr at home like that? When I look at Mac Jones, I can't believe Mac Jones, that lack of talent and physical attributes, was drafted in the first round. He sucks. Bill Belichick has made many draft mistakes, but he had Tom Brady on the team to make it work and cover it up. This team has no speed, no offensive talent. And Bill Belichick, he's made a living off being cutthroat, getting rid of players. Kraft needs to do the same thing with him. He needs to fire him because there's no way Kraft can be confident. There's no way.
After this week. Go ahead and they can do more of those.
No, after this season. He needs to fire him because I don't think Kraft
more of those performances.
Can be confident that Bill Belichick will find his next quarterback. I mean, this last draft, he drafted 3 guards, a kicker, and a punter. I don't know what the hell Bill is doing, but hey, stick a fork in New England. They're done. They lost 38-3, 34 to Dallas, 34-0. They're going to lose to the Raiders too. Season's over. Season's over. 4 teams. I'm done talking about it.
I always do something stupid. I actually wrote this down, so if I hear you talking about them, I'm going to put
Green Bay, Denver, Carolina, New England.
I got them written. I don't want to hear anything about them. Cool. Minute to win it for me. I just wanted thoughts and prayers for innocents dealing with violence, things in conflicts they didn't create, conflicts they weren't a part of, conflicts that they can't control. Just prayers up for people around the world. You know what's going on. So that's kind of where mine is, and I'll let B close it out because I figure you'll say it more eloquently.
No doubt.
Yeah, I was going to actually talk about 2 different things. So I don't know if many people knew, but there was a 6.3 earthquake in Afghanistan last week, and it killed a couple of thousands of people, more people than have passed in the Israel and Hamas conflict. war, as it could be stated. Well, but they had another one last night, another 6.3 earthquake, and more likely to have more thousands of people who have passed away, and that's just tragedy. Anytime this happen, I don't care to hear or think about whether or not you like Afghanistan or anything like that, but thousands of people perishing in an instant earthquake, is horrific. And regardless of some of the folks that are amongst those, and the same thing kind of goes. We are in a really, really bad place, and what's going on in Israel and with Hamas and the Palestine and the Gaza Strip, and so many people are about to die, and so many people here that want people to divide their allegiances and say that they're pro-Israel, and you'll see people on their Facebook page and their Instagram, and they'll say I'm with Israel, and then you'll have other people who are saying I'm with Palestine, and nobody, I don't think, and if they do, F them, are saying what they're with Hamas and what they've done, because I don't think that's objectively terrible. But these situations are so horrible that no matter how they end, it can't be considered positive. It can't be considered good. The things that they're showing pictures of that Hamas did, where they were taking and cutting off the heads of children, raping women, kidnapping folks, it's just beyond disgusting. So much so that only something as horrible as this could unite people like Lindsey Graham and Joe Biden, because Lindsey Graham came out there and said, basically he likes what Biden is doing, all except for one thing. And it's just, I really, really hope that when we think about what the reasons for going to war in any situation, we realize that these belief structures that we use to start these conflicts are not worth the lives of our family, our families, loved ones, other people that we don't even know, and their families and loved ones. It's all horrible. It's all negative. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. This Israel war, when you think about it, I think it's 2,000 square miles is the entire area of Israel. This Israel war and the Gaza Strip war is likely to spread. I don't know that we're going to get into a world war. I don't know that a world war can happen at this point in time, but it's likely to spread into every conflict that's going on around the world. Latin America is now spinning up their wheels because the number of deaths they have of people who were in Israel. Ukraine and Russia is becoming more intense because of this. It's going to have some really crazy impacts, and my heart goes out to everyone who's not a combatant, but is ultimately having their lives negatively impacted.
Well said.
As always, well said.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers up, man. That's our show. We'll catch you guys later.